Hey people, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Wanoch. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to upload files to Bunny using Node.js Express server. So before we continue in this tutorial, you need to have a basic understanding of how Node Express servers work. So if you're okay with that, then we can dive right in. So Bunny, one of the reasons why I like using Bunny for files upload is because of the relatively cheap pricing. If you head over to bunny.net, it will get you on this page or something that's similar to this page. But then if you head over to the pricing and check out the Bunny storage, you'd see the pricing is about $0.01 per gig per region. So I think it's one of the cheaper options amongst its counterparts. So if you don't have an account, head over to get started. But I do have an account, so I click on login and brings me to the dashboard because I was already authenticated. So I can click on storage, which is what we are concerned with for today. So click on add a storage zone, and you can call this is just like a bucket, so where all your files will be stored. So this storage zone, the name is totally up to you. I choose to call my storage zone Bunny storage node. Bunny storage node. So I'm okay with the defaults. By making it only available in this zone, it's 0.01 USD. But if you need to add more zones, you can. So with that, we are good for now. We'll come back here later. So I can open up the command line and make a directory. Call it Bunny storage node. CD into the Bunny storage node. Open it up in VS Code or any code editor of your choice. I'm okay with this. Then open up the terminal and run npm init to initialize your node server. Give it a couple of your node server is initialized. You can run npm. We need a couple of dependencies for this project. We need Express because that's the we are using Express Axios for API call to make a network request to Bunny API. Then we'll need Multer to be able to pass our files. So I run npm install Multer Express and Axios and wait for it to install. While it's installing, we'll go ahead to create an index.js file. So you can import Express. You can import Express from Express. Import Multer from Multer. Instantiate the Express. Store it in a variable. Then we can say app.listing. I can listing on port 3000 and be able to add a callback function that essentially console the log server running on port 3000. Let me close this here. It opened up because I have like Copilot installed. Helps my development process faster. So yeah, we we are good to go. So we can run npm start to start our development server. And as you can see, it said, oh, it failed. It says cannot use import module outside the module. So if we go to package.json, we need to specify that we are using the module. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. Just set type to module, and that would fix that. So our server is running on port 3000. So in our index, there's no way to know our server is running. So I'll need to configure a default route. A default route handle like get request. So when we go to the home route, we want to be able to return to, yeah, there's the JSON. Let's send the JSON that will have a message key and say, hello, I am walking. So if we open up our Postman, and so if we hit on that route, you'd see, hello, I am walking. So it means our Express server is up. So that's awesome. So next we are going to be going into the upload itself, the route to handle the upload. So we can call this, it's going to be a post request. Anyone, I prefer post request, could be post because of the nature of Bunny, but that's fine. A post request takes in the request response, and I can leave it open for now, close it out. So I need to be able to wait for the file upload to complete, so I'll make the callback function asynchronous. So here, immediately the request hits the upload endpoint, I want to pass in the Multer middleware to be able to pass the files that we have, so that we'll be able to upload that to Bunny. So we'll do that inside here and say, oh, before then, let's create an instance of the Multer and tell it where to Multer yeah, so we can say Multer and accepts a couple of parameters, but the one I want to work with is to store it temporarily in a folder called uploads. So if I go back to my request, I can now say Multer pass dot fields. So this gives me access to, it takes in an array, right, where I can tell it the name of the key of the request that is coming in. So I can call it file, or let's call it attachment so that it will be clearer. So with this, we can have access to the attachment. So we can say attachment is going to be equal to request dot files. Remember, we'll call it attachment here, so it's going to be attachment, and it's going to be the index. It's usually like, Multer can have like an array of files, but it's a single file, so we just tap into the first element in the array, which is the only element in the array. So we can check if, first of all, we need to put a null checker here in case there's no file. That's totally up to you, the way you want to do your validation. You can use DTOs for that, or just to be safe here, I can say if not attachment. That means there's no attachment. So I can now return series.status 400, which is a bad request, and tell the user no file uploaded. Right, so I close out this. Yeah, but now if there's a file, continues running. If there's a file, I want to handle upload. So we can keep this one side, and let me increase this a little. So yeah, I think it should be clear. I missed to do this earlier, but hopefully we should be fine. So I can create a file to handle the files upload. So I can call it file util file upload util.js, and I can create an exported function here and call it handle file upload, and this is going to be an arrow function that accepts a file. This needs to be asynchronous too, so that we can wait for the upload. So inside here, we are going to be making use of Axios. So let me import Axios now. I'm also going to be making use of fx because Bunny only majorly accepts the buffer. So we'll use fs to create the file, the stream rather. So we can say const file stream. This is a variable totally up to me. So I use the fs to create read stream, and I want it to do it from the file.path because this is the path to where the file is currently stored. So it creates a stream from it. Creates the stream. Then I need to have a unique file name. Let me get over how I usually generate my unique file name. First of all, Multer already has a unique file name for it, but yeah, Multer has a unique file name for it, but I just want to be extra. I just want to be sure of how things are here. So I have a timestamp of it, the file name that Multer generated for it, and the original file name. The why I'm using this original file name is because it has the extension. So typically when we store on Bunny, the file name we give to it is what we are going to be using to access it. So I need it to have the extension, so we'll be fine from there. So with that, I can call on the Bunny API. I can call this response, so it can be stored in a response and await it, and use Axios. The method that Bunny provides is a put request. So it takes in three things. It takes in the URL, the stream, and the headers. So with that, the URL is going to be, let me get it out. If you check the file access, right, you see it's the host name is Bunny storage, storage.BunnyCDN, blah blah. So I can put that in here. Oh, I need to make it an HTTPS request, so I won't have issues. Oops. Yeah. So it takes in that and the name of the app, and the name of the app not just the name, it's not just the name, it's the storage zone rather, sorry. So it takes in the storage zone. The storage zone, we called it Bunny storage node. Remember we created that at the beginning. So, and aside that, it takes in the unique file name, so we wouldn't have issues. So I pass in the unique file name. Oh, let me just double check. Yeah, then the second parameter, it takes in the stream, the file stream. So then lastly, it takes in the headers. Inside the headers, it's called access key. So if you go over here, you'll see the password part. Just taking, don't worry about trying to use my keys. It's going to be inactive by the time you'll be watching this video. So with that, we have uploaded it. So you'll need to check. So you need to check if response the data exists. That means most likely it worked. Then we are going to just return the URL. We're going to return the URL. Now this is where I said where I mentioned the unique file name is important. So we need to pass in the unique file name we just created. Yep. But there's a prefix to it. The prefix is the pull zone where you want your files to be pulled from. So we need to create a pull zone for that. So you can head over here and click on pull zone. If you have an existing pull zone so that you won't be charged for it again, you can select from any. But I think I have a pull zone already created. But if you do not have, you can just click on create. It's straightforward. Be sure to select only the regions where it's important to you so that you won't have a bloated fees, but still relatively cheap too. So I add a pull zone. I can call it Bunny storage node. So it's going to happen to add this prefix for me. So it becomes a valid URL. So if I click on add, yeah, I'm good. I can copy this right here and go over to my code and add it as the prefix HTTPS. Yep. So it returns this. But if there's no response, the data I want to return false or null, anyone. So with this, I can come over here and handle the upload. I can say const upload response. So if there's an upload response, yeah, so I store it in a variable first, or called upload response. So I await the handle file upload that takes in the file, and the file is called attachment. I called it attachment above here. Our server is crashing, said. Okay, do you mean okay? Yeah, so we are fine. So if upload response, I would like to return a status of 201.json. I set a message file uploaded. Then the URL is going to be the upload response. If you remember, we are returning the URL. But if this fails, so I'm going to return a status 500.json with a message file upload failed. So fingers crossed, we should be fine. So if we open up Postman again and go to create a new request and go to /upload that we called it. It's called attachment. Can select a file from my local machine. Let's call it this and hit on send. Voila, we have our file is uploaded to Bunny. So if you open up the URL, if you see that the file is here, if we also go to our storage on Bunny and check out the Bunny storage node, you'll see the file we just uploaded. So guys, that is how to upload files to Bunny, and this is the end of our tutorial. This code is going to be found on my GitHub and the link will be added below. So feel free to share with friends, comment, ask your questions, and I'll be available to attend to everyone. Thank you so much, guys. Do well to subscribe as more content will be coming.